This is a very sad way to start the show.
Take me far away, I think I've had enough. I can't do no more, I'm finally breaking. You lost all my trust, I'm walking out the door. Don't let me keep taking me away.
Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the WOLVPVCK Podcast, when we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly topics that happens on a weekly basis in the entertainment industry. I'm your host, Wolfson, and without further ado, let's get down with the shitstance. Now, I wish this episode starts with a very nice introduction to some of the topics that we're going to talk about, but unfortunately, no. This episode starts with a very, very sad note that needs to be addressed. And I'm pretty sure at this point, everybody knows what went down. And I'm just here for those who hasn't caught up or know all the facts of what's happening and this and that. I'm talking about the incident that happened last weekend with Beyond Wonderland. Unfortunately, there was an incident in which there was a mass shooting in which one individual, I believe he was arrested and detained. We're gonna take a deep dive on look at that to make sure we got all our facts right as of right now. For no reason, I don't know how he managed to get the gun inside the festival, but he did a few shootings, did shoot and got 8 people. He killed 4 and injured 3 or 2. Again, I got all the facts. We're gonna go by it. But before we do, I don't really do practice that much my religion, even though I preach about it. Sometimes I don't. I always want to keep it private. But in this instance, I wish to take a moment of silence for our thoughts and prayers for the victims of this incident tragedy that happened. So we're just going to take a little moment of silence for the podcast. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. I wish I could give you guys like better incident or better news to it, but it's sad. Like, some of these victims lost their lives. I know that a couple that were engaged lost their lives, which is that hit home because I'm engaged to my fiance. She's like the most wonderful person that I've ever met in my entire life, and the thought me losing her or she losing me, your mind goes all around the place, and it's sad. It's sad. They're engaged and they lost their lives because some fuckhead decided to go on a rampage. And some victims, they started GoFundMe's. So guys, you should take a look and support them a little bit if whatever you can. $1 makes a difference. It could be $1. It could be 5. It could be 10. It could be 100. It could be 1,000. It doesn't matter. $1 makes a difference. I don't care what anybody says. $1 makes the difference. So we're just gonna take this over. We got a few more topics that we want to talk about. This is the ugly topic, but there's some other topics that are bad and then good. That that's how we're gonna want to finish it off. I want to get over, so I'm just gonna basically gleaned over for most of it. So if we take a look at the Twitter thread, the likes and dislikes of Twitter is that I like Twitter. It's used because I get all my, even though it shouldn't be like that, but I get all my sources from Twitter, like all the, at least all the news feed sources is like, oh, I can see it from Twitter, and then I could just have it on a thread and talk about it, or rampants and bookmark it. Even though that shouldn't be like my main source, it should be other sources. But nevertheless, I found it on Twitter. So we're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a glean at it. You see it right here on the small little screen that I got. So this is directly from EDM Maniacs. Shout out to them for keep us on the loop. Obviously, other EDM blogs like Dancing Astronaut, EDM.com, and other blogs and social media influencers that were on the update. So shout out to all of you guys. Not just EDM Mania, it's just everybody who was keeping it interesting. So I'm gonna read it verbatim for how they put it, and then we'll have our comments about it, and then we'll see if there's anything that we missed out or whatnot. So how it went down. EDM Maniac tells like everything we know so far about the shooting incident last night at the Beyond Wonderland Gorge campgrounds, Fred, what we know about the Gorge shooting. So June 17, 8:23 p.m. Pacific time. Shooting occurred at the Gorge Amphitheater campgrounds near the town of George, Washington, where in some is Beyond Wonderland was being held this weekend. So I knew Beyond Wonderland was in the West Side Coast. I didn't know where. Good to know it was like right there up in the Washington State. So this is at the town of George, Washington. Okay, I know that was a little bit under the nose, but wow, there's literally a town called George, and it's under the state of Washington. So it's like pun intended from our first president. What? Little humor. Sorry, it was a bad one. Dad jokes. I'm getting there. Anyway, so it occurred. So it occurred at 8:23 p.m. Pacific time when the shooting happened. The campgrounds are located just zero point 0.5 miles, 50-minute walk from the event venue itself. Okay, little contents. Okay, so if I'm getting this right, that means it didn't really happen within the festival grounds. It only happened in the campgrounds. I mean, sure, you can say that it's within the festival grounds, but campsite is one thing. The festival is another thing. Like for you to get into the camp is one way to do it. I mean, you have to pay a fee of parking and whatnot, sure. But once you get to the festival, there's another entrance. There's another security entrance that you had to go through. So it's like, all right, now it makes kind of sense a little bit. It didn't. I thought it really happened inside the festival. Like he came in with a gun inside the festival and started shooting out people like crazy. I thought that was the case. According to EDM Maniac, they say like no, it's actually outside of the festival, but within the grounds. So it's in the camp where everybody stationed camp. Well, that's even scarier because that means who the fuck wants to go on camping grounds now? Now that the fact that anybody can just sneak him a gun and just going off out of nothing, just like that. But let's move on. Let's continue on. So it event itself. So you see the little map. It's like, all right, it kind of makes sense now. So the shooting happened at 8:23 p.m. Pacific time, and at 10:04 p.m. Pacific time, Beyond Wonderland PNW Twitter account released the following statements. Please avoid the Gorge Gate H campgrounds area as it is closed due to an incident that has been handed by the local authorities. There is no current danger to the festival goers or the campgrounds. The festival continue through the remainder of one night. Ooh, that's I mean, that's good to hear that it was handled swiftly. I guess it was handled swiftly. Maybe, I don't know. I've heard a lot of conflicted stories about it. We're gonna take a look at some of the other threats that we got so far. But the festival continued on throughout the rest of the night without any further incidents. If I were the chief, I would have told the festival like, "Yo, shut the fuck down, shut the night down," because maybe they were trying to control the crowd to make sure nobody goes on a frenzy and a panic and whatnot. Maybe, but this sounds like, again, like the Travis Scott incident, which it went to disaster, and people should have just like shut down the festival if it was gonna go nuts like that. Especially if there's a gun involved in this. Travis Scott's incident, there was no gun involved. It was just people stomping at each other and being crazy and wild. That was crazy as it is. So imagine in this case, they had to shut it down, but I don't think they shut it down until later on. These guys, they just kept it going. I don't know, guys. I would have shut that shit down right away. I don't give a fuck. By 11:30 p.m. Pacific time, the press conference was held by local authority, which provided the following information. Shooting happened at 8:23 p.m. local time. Shooter shot randomly. Okay, so far, whoever the shooter itself just did it randomly. Probably he was high and just did it because there hasn't been any targets or whatnot. All right. Still, that's not a good thing. Confirmed 2 dead and 3 injured, including the shooter. So the shooter got shot. Oh, okay. No age ranges known for victims. Authorities do not know what kind of weapon were used. Authorities do not have motives at this time. This is at 11:30. This is whatever they gather. They say that 2 were dead, 3 were injured, including the shooter. Fuck that guy. Um, on June 18, 5:21 a.m. Pacific time. So in the morning, Beyond Wonderland canceled day 2 of the event with the following message: due to the incident that took place over in the overflow camping area last night, we regret to inform you that day 2 of the Beyond Wonderland the gorge has been canceled. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to the local authorities, staff who acted quickly to manage the situation. Our heartfelt thoughts and condolences go to our family, friends, and all those affected by this tragedy. Well, that's actually good. Like, it's a good thing that they canceled day 2 because they didn't want to like go beyond nuts, and they just want to make sure that we get all the facts and all the evidence and attend all the wounded and double the security. If they're gonna reopen, which I believe they did at 11 a.m. Grant County Sheriff releases following. Say, if you're unable to get into contact with someone who was attending Beyond Wonderland, call the number. Information will be collected and passed to the deputies at the guards. EDM Maniac will continue to provide updates of information as provided. Let me see. This happened on June 18. I know there was more, so let's just go to their page because this was in the thread. Jeez, man. So, all right. So here we go. Yes, this was definitely the thread that I was looking into. This was the thread I was okay. So here it is. So, following the tragic shooting that occurred this past weekend at the gorge at the Beyond Wonderland, Electric Forest will be implementing increased security measures. In a post on social media, the Michigan Camping Festival addressed the concerns about how they respond to the shooting of the gorge, regards taking place on the weekend of June 22 and 25th. So, the Electric Forest, Jesus. So, they're actually going for this weekend for Electric Forest. Okay. They announced the festival would deploy K9 units. Basically, see something, say something. I'm bringing all about all these comments on the threads. I mean, they're gonna have K9 units. I don't know, guys. Like, do another festival. I know money is valuable, but Jesus, how much you value your money over people's families? The victims of the Gorge amphitheater camping shooting has been identified on Tuesday. The Grand County's coroner office autopsy Jocelyn Ruiz, 26, and her fiance Brandy Escamilla, 29, and determined they have been shot. So those are the 2 dead victims. My condolences to their families. Rest in peace. That's sad. That's very sad to hear. I'm still looking here. I'm still scrolling. Couple have been camping on Saturday music event at the Gorge Amphitheater. And in a GoFundMe, they gather Reese's bureau and shipping her belongings from Seattle to California. Her sister-in-law called the pair incredible. GoFundMe organizer said Josie came into this world in July 1996, hence why she received the middle name Summer, ray of sunshine. As soon as you saw her, she will bright up the day. As a trained nurse, Ruiz followed her love of helping people. You could donate to the GoFundMe. You can check that out on EDM Mania, guys. Go ahead. For Jocelyn and for Brandy, that is so sad. Jesus Christ. Let's see if we can find anything else under my bookmarks. No, that's the victim. We'll talk about that. Yeesh. I need to literally dedicate an entire episode on just on just the Twitter threads that I got on my bookmark, and we need to dedicate an entire episode. Not today. Yeah. So far, that's what we got so far. Let me see if I got anything coming from, because I know I got some on there from freaking what you call it from Instagram. Stupid. I don't know why I blanked out for a moment. Let me see. This is all right. So this is a statement from Pascal Rotella. His statements. I'm gonna read it verbatim. You won't be hearing because I see it in my fucking Instagram. I would like to address the tragic incident that occurred last night at the Beyond Wonderland. On behalf of the entire Insomnia family, we extend our heartfelt thoughts and condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones of the victims. The two loss of two lives, as well as the injuries sustained by others, is an incredible, heartbreaking tragedy. Given the various accounts circulating, I would like to provide an update based on the information currently available. This was 3 days ago. We're recording on a Thursday. We know that the shooting took place in the furthest campground from the Gorge Amphitheater, which is designated for overflow camping and located half a mile outside the perimeter of main festival grounds. It is our understanding that the incident stemmed from an isolated situation that escalated, leading the assailant to flee the area. The officer involved in the shooting then occurred to neutralize the threat. Interesting. The Gorge has been successfully hosting events for decades. The circumstances of how and why this occurred are under investigation. Many have questioned why the festival continued during and after the incident. We made the decision to keep the festival open at the request of law enforcement once it became evident that there was no ongoing threat to the safety of attendees. This was also done to ensure that the majority of attendees stay away from the campground area where the incident took place. Our staff worked in close coordination with the local authorities to secure the area, while also preserving it for investigators to conduct their work in a smaller, isolated section. I want to express my gratitude to the artist staff who remained calm and ensure that the show continued. Your collective efforts greatly contribute to maintaining the safety and calmness of the attendees. The Insomniac First Respond team, I am grateful for your professionalism, passion, care, and courage. I cannot imagine being by the side of any other group when it comes to managing the situation as challenging as this one. This tragedy has been deeply affecting me as the organizer of this event. My intentions has always been bring people together and celebrate our shared love for music and community. Facts. I am at loss to comprehend how individuals can commit such heinous acts. For 30 years of organizing events, we have brought together millions of people with any incident of this nature. Wow. I hold profound love for our community and deeply value the principles that define our culture. This incident stands in stark contrast to everything we stand for. It goes against the spirit of unity, love, and respect that we strive for us to live in our community. Please take care of yourselves and continue to spread love and support one another, especially during this difficult time. Pascal Rotel. My thoughts. My thoughts with this. I honestly don't. I'm a loss in words, to be honest. To be honest, I'm in a loss of words. As far as I'm concerned of how long have I been attending festivals and doing festivals, there hasn't been one incident that involved a mass shooting. This is the first one, and it's a scary one for me because it hit home. Usually, I've heard mass shootings from other festivals or other campings that has no correlation, no relation to EDM, because the whole concept of EDM is peace, is the plur shit, the peace, love, unity, and respect. This went out the window when things got escalated. So for the person who got charged and arrested because decided to escalate, I hope you rot in hell. Honestly, not just jail, just hell. Because what gave you the right to take someone else's life? Not just one, two, and then injure a few because of your ego. All of this stands for ego. This always has been the main case of shootings. Like, it's the same thing with gang violence, the gang shootouts, and all these other man shootings. It's all based on pride and ego because their egos got hurt, or they got pride out of it, or got hurt, or their mental state wasn't a bad shit. I mean, they got bullied and shit, and so they just have to escalate the fit and alter it and just like go on a shootout. I try to stay away from politics as much as possible because I feel like nobody's ready to have those conversations. Even though I'm a gun pro, I'm all about Second Amendment and gun pro. Why do you need to bring a gun to a festival? Why? What's the reason for it? And this is like the part where, like, bro, like, what's crazy? This is not the only shootout incident that happened. Now, this wasn't the only incident that happened during the weekend of Juneteenth. There were a couple more that I'm not gonna discussed about it, but I heard through the Breakfast Club that they reported like several more incidents that happened throughout the course of the weekend. This is a real problem with America right now, bro. The fact that now you can't feel like anywhere else is feel safe because you're gonna run the risk of getting shot because of no apparent reason. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I left Puerto Rico, my hometown. As much as I love my hometown of Puerto Rico, by the time that I left, it was in a bad shape. I mean, obviously, there's several reasons why I left, but one of the reasons is for my safety, the concern of my safety. The fact that every day I hear that somebody died because of a gang shootout or because of a robbery going bad, got shot and shit like that. Every day I hear that there's shootouts, that somebody died. I mean, I remember one time. I remember that it was like it's only been halfway through the year, and that there has been 600 people died from mass shooting. Whether it's gang violence related, gun shootout, or spouse or cheating, surprisingly never, or execution too, hitman. There's a lot of hitmen there. Surprisingly, I never seen one through school. Somebody going into school, that's never been an issue, but it has been an issue that somebody for a certain school goes out and the opposite school don't like each other, and then just do their thing. Yeah, it got to a point that I had to have eyes behind my back all the time. I always have to look out. It was not a good way to live by, and I got used to it. And then when I moved here, I thought it was like, oh, okay, it's gonna get a little bit better. Nope, they're just following the same thing as Puerto Rico. And mind you, Puerto Rico has a very strict gun laws, but again, these people getting the guns is through they're getting it illegally through gangs and cartels and whatnot. Here, however, we're giving away our guns for free. Basically, there's no background check, there's no permit. You just carry and that's it. You grab it from your parents. Feel like that's. I honestly do not have an answer for it. I don't know if we're ever gonna have an answer, a better solution to find and solve these gun violent issues that we're having. Like, my say is everybody should have a permit, and you should have a strict background. No teenager should ever buy a gun on a Walmart without, just because you have an ID and no background check. It's not enough. No, there should be like how Puerto Rico does is like you need to be part of a membership club for you to have it registered. You need to have training, and you need to have backgrounds, and you need to use it to use the bullets on the training facilities. If you don't, we revoke the license. You're not, or maybe it's like, yeah, you're not allowed to carry any weapons. Maybe that's it. You're not allowed to carry any fucking weapons out there. Weapons should be in your home to protect your home for any outside danger, not bring your weapons out and about. Maybe that's what we should do. But again, that's my frustrations coming in. That's me speaking out of my ass. I don't have the answers. I just feel frustrated the fact that people have to die and not our local government doesn't do jack shit about it. My frustration is out of it. My condolences to the families of the victims. It was a very tragic incident. I have no solution of it, honestly. I don't have the solution. And if I don't have the solution, no less the government is going to have one, or any of your local authorities. I will say, like, Pascal, how he handled his with this situation, he handled it greatly, how it should be. I would have said fuck and cancel everything. I would not keep it going because it's just like, nah, bro. Like it's a muddy incident. It was very risky too. You don't know if there was another shooting that's gonna occur. But hey, it's their money, to each their own. I'm just here with a microphone talking out of my ass about what I think about it. It is what it is, guys. I just wanted to bring it to you guys. My frustrations towards it. I have no solution to it. It's just sad. That's pretty much it. It's sad. Let's move on to the next topic because I see that we don't have that much time. we talked too much about it. Just Pearly Fins. Oh my god! And here I thought I wasn't gonna talk about more red pill community bullcrap, but here I am talking about Just Pearly Fins. Just recently, if you guys don't know who Just Pearly Thing is, it's this white chick that's in her mid-20s, a little bit later than that. She's not a feminist. She's all, and she's like completely backwards. She's like literally the anti-feminist movement. She's the one that tells people like women shouldn't vote because if you can't go to war, you shouldn't vote. Women should shut up and behave. All that crap. Yeah. She's literally a grifter, honestly. Because when you hear some of the things that you hear from her, she's just talking out of her ass. And I'm gonna explain to that a little bit, but I got this clip, from the H3 podcast. Not big fan of their of even Klein, but I gotta give it to him when he actually did an excellent job on this. And the fact that you made Ethan Klein a more reasonable person, that says a lot of how stupid you really are. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and see this a little bit. Maybe I'm gonna show you guys a little bit. We're gonna listen to it just a little bit and comment it a little bit. Here are our thoughts, so we can move on with the other great stuff that happens.
Become really successful the past year or two. You're friends with Fresh and Fit, right? Those guys are your dogs,
Fresh and Frog, basically.
And you kind of are sympathetic to their kind of views. But you've made a name for yourself just on TikTok and on YouTube. So let me just ask you generally, like, what kind of messages are you sharing on your platform? What kind of important messages is it that you find yourself are about?
I believe in family, so I think that we should have policies that push family. I think that feminism overall was a bad thing. I think women are happier.
Wow. Remember to say anti-feminist right here. Feminist, yeah.
When we have, a family and kids over a career in the long run.
So it's more like traditional, you want people to kind of follow a more traditional path in terms of family and gender and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, and you just see the negative outcomes a society has when families fall apart, right? And it's especially hard on the children. Like you see, the kids are more likely to go to prison, they're more likely to drop out of school, they're more likely to be in mental health institutions. So you just see all of the problems that come with single mother homes. So I just think it's important that we push policies that push family.
That's a wild take and very inaccurate, to be honest. Because I have friends that have divorced parents and they're as successful as they are right now. Like, Jesus, my best friend, he has a successful job. He sells he sells watches. Like, I'm telling you, thousands of dollars of watches. He has a small little business. He's an engineer, bachelor, everything. Like, he comes from a home of single mom. I mean, he knows his father. They're both split up, basically. I've never seen him more successful than anything. Like the guy's he's making it. So she's talking about like in the worst case scenarios or the hypothetical scenarios, I guess, or like the small little percentage of it. But that's not necessarily true. That's on everyone. I know a lot of people who come from broken homes and divorced parents, and they still are doing great right now. Sure, I can see a few of them that they're not that good, but for her to say everybody, if it damaged the children and this and that, it's like.
So how do you push a policy that promotes family? Like, in what way can you force a family to stay together or encourage it in a sense?
Well, I think you first have to get rid of incentives that incentivize women to leave families. So, for example, child support, alimony. I'm not really a fan of those.
Child support.
You're not in support of child support or what?
So if there's a divorce, let's say.
Actually, I think we should ban divorce too. Yeah, I think that should be.
Nani? Bruh. She belongs to the street.
What?
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Hold on. Maybe I misheard it.
So if there's a divorce, let's say.
Actually, I think we should ban divorce too. Yeah, I think that should be banned.
Nani?
Okay, well, that's a little bit silly. You have to acknowledge that, right?
Yeah.
No.
So
Emotional, damn it.
Ban divorce? Am I gonna hear this like how these other Christian and red pill dumbasses that we covered a couple of weeks ago? Just endure it. Huh? Ban divorce?
You serious?
Lady,
She belongs to the street.
the fuck you talking about? You're telling me that if it on an abusive relationship, sure, I'm taking this to the extreme, but I'm trying to make a point. Are you talking if in an abusive relationship or in a relationship that neither want to stop caring about each other, stop loving each other, and they're all just cheating, or I don't know, like I don't know any other scenario that can think of, having a divorce. But you're telling me if divorce is the only option to save each other or save the marriage or save the children, you're telling me that you should ban it? So you're telling every other woman out there who's in an abusive relationship, just endure it. Don't divorce it. Or men too. Men actually get mentally abused by their spouses. It does happen. Rare occasions, sure. Or when people don't like each other and they start hating each other, start sniping each other, it's much more healthy if they just split up instead of, staying together all the way to the end, because they're going to be miserable. So you're telling me let's ban divorce? Coming from someone who is in her mid-20s, and yeah, let's just ban divorce. I will... Wow, she really is an idiot. Again, and this is coming from me. I'm in my 30s. I got experience with relationships and whatnot. Just a little dabble, Married to my first wife and the first and only wife. Sure, I may say I'm not ever going to divorce, but then again, we don't have those problems. And if a problem situation that does rise in which we need to split up, and if we have children, we agree to each other, like we shouldn't hate each other. In fact, we should support each other and we should co-parent. We should show that kid that we love them no matter what, and this is nothing to do, and that we can be together for this. Obviously, it's harder to say that because I've seen the opposite of it on other families. But nevertheless, they're not together. And again, I'm in my 30s and she's not even near her mid-20s. And she's talking about how to handle a relationship. This is something that I hate about the red pill community. Honestly, this butches my shorts. They talk so much out of their asses of how to handle a relationship when they never been in a relationship. I mean, what? I'm being serious. Like, these guys are talking about how they're supposed to handle stuff and how a relationship is supposed to go when they've never been in a relationship to begin with. And she's talking out of her ass if she has the experience that she's been divorced before, so she knows what it's like. Like, the fuck you talking about? I'm pretty sure her families are still together. I'm pretty sure. But let's continue to listen to the stupidity comes out of this woman's mouth.
banning divorce means that when you decide to get married, you are not allowed by the government to leave your significant other in any situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think that if you want to leave, you just shouldn't get married. So.
Nani? Bruh. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Yeah, because that's the mindset of when I'm into a relationship, I should basically get ready to leave before I get married to make sure this is the one. Hit the button.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I mean, I feel more dumber now. I don't know why did I even decide to talk about this.
That's
Great.
just my opinion.
Right, but like in the real world.
No, it's your dumbass opinion. It's an opinion, not an actual fact. And that should never do that. What a fucking idiot.
Kind of simplistic.
And there's like exceptions to this, but I would just say in general for most.
Oh, now we're talking about the exceptions as to why we can divorce. Get the fuck out of here with that crap.
Cases, we could talk about exceptions, but like the rule.
Well, the exceptions are the important part, because I've heard you say that a lot when you're talking about things. You say, "Oh, you want to talk about exceptions," but the exceptions is the important part, because those are the people that are going to be affected. I mean,
yeah.
Exceptions are going to be a large part of divorces, as you say. I mean,
yeah.
You're talking about 25% maybe or more, because if you're saying you're not allowed to get divorced, so we're talking about what if the relationship is physically abusive,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if it's physically, this is the problem though. All right.
Wait, what's the problem? What? Where's the problem? There isn't. Yeah, it's actually a good take. If the relationship is a physical abuse relationship, shouldn't they get split up? Whether it's a man or a female, it doesn't really matter. Normally, yes, it comes from the female that they're being the abuse, and the male is the abuser. There has been small cases in which the man is the one being abused and the one is the abuser. Small cases, again, it's certain sections. Sure, if we want to call it like that, certain sections. But if it's physical, split up. Simple as that. I don't know where's the problem, but let's hear her take.
If it's one-sided physically abusive, okay, fine, divorce. We can allow divorce for those exceptions, but
I thought you say no, ban divorce altogether.
Gotcha, bitch.
So now we're piggybacking and saying controversial things. All right, sure, the exception.
Like I've even talked to people that work at like abuse centers, and they say that the majority of abuse is mutual. So it's not just one side's hitting the other; it's like mutual. So
surely that's not every time.
I think.
Thank you, Ethan. That's not every time. That's not every time. The majority of the abuse is always going to be one-sided. And why? Because most of the time they keep it quiet because they feel shame. They feel embarrassed to even talk about it. Or in better cases, they feel fear from the abuser, because if they talk, they fear that something worse is going to happen. So that's why they endure it, as MLD says it. Fucking retard. Sorry. And this idiot I feel like this person doesn't say much. She just piggybacks on other people's ideas and she just puts that. I don't think she has a personal opinion. We'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not healthier either.
Mm-hmm. I just think that the goal should be to keep families together and that the goal should be to work through it.
Working through it with some certain difficulties versus being abused are two different things.
I think most people agree with that, right? Because I think we all can look at the stats and say family is important, right? Family is important. Nuclear families is important to like the health of children growing up in general. I think we can all say that. But when you say something like divorce should be illegal, we got to kind of suss that out because that's a pretty extreme claim. For example, in 2014, family violence was the cause of 25% of divorces. So I don't think it's fair to characterize that as some kind of like super fringe example of why people get divorced.
Well, we also have to look if there's incentive structures in place where there's a lot of false accusations in family court. And a lot of people don't know this, that family court is actually it's not based off of evidence. It's based off a balance of probabilities. And there are incentive programs that get, like in the UK, you get a free lawyer if you accuse your husband of abuse.
That is not true. Guys, do not listen to her. That is not true. It is not. I mean, if you guys want to correct me or correct her, please comment down below and find me some of the evidence or link to me to something with a credible source. I find it hard to believe that it's not going towards evidence, because you know why? I got family members right now that they're about to go through divorce because of certain situations, and they need to have evidence to show to the court as to why this person is a piece of shit and why I should actually, get all the support. And again, you're talking about the UK. The laws of other countries are different for the US. So you cannot expect that people in the US will follow the laws and the rules and regulations and the way of living of other countries, and vice versa. It's ridiculous for you to think like that.
Less than 10% of cases are actually like followed through with the police.
Sorry, I don't want to move on quite yet. I want to stick on the topic of not allowing people to divorce. So you're saying that you do want to allow people to divorce. Then you don't really believe that.
No, I would say ban divorce.
Because you just said you would allow an exception in the case of abuse.
I said one-sided abuse exception, sure.
Okay, so how do you prove the one? So then you don't believe in forced divorce?
Yeah.
I mean
exactly. What the fuck? You say ban divorce, but what if it's one-sided abuse? Okay, then divorce. Oh, so it's only that exception?
Fine. Yeah. Ban divorce except for one-sided abuse.
Okay, except for one-sided abuse. And is there going to be a system to kind of how do you prove that the woman or man?
Well, I think you have to press charges in criminal court, not family court.
So
wait, what?
Only if your significant other is tried criminally are you allowed to leave the relationship. Yes. Tried and found guilty criminally.
Yes. Otherwise,
gotcha, bitch.
You see what I mean? She's a grifter. She's a moron. She contradicts her own topics. We started with ban divorce, and before you know it, throughout the entire conversation, he's already saying, well, okay, ban divorce. But wait, hold on. If it's one-sided abuse, then sure, you can divorce it. And if somebody gets convicted in trial and for criminal and they're going to jail, then sure, you should get divorced and this and that. But other than that, ban divorce.
She belongs to the street.
So what happens if the husband is gambling and gamble everyone's life savings and money and put everybody on broke and bankrupt and homeless and got evicted? Shouldn't the wife take the children and divorce the guy and make sure that all that shit is on him? So you want the wife and the kids to be homeless with the gambling addict so they can stay homeless? She should endure it? Okay. Same goes with the alcoholic. You think they should endure it? If the husband has been alcoholic, they should endure it. If the husband is on drugs, they should endure it too. If the husband is on cheating and lies, they should endure it. Interesting. Maybe those are the only exceptions to the divorce. Everything else is everything else just ban divorce. Funny because that's exactly what divorce is for the majority of the time. Those are literally the cases that happens on a day to day. Wolfson, how do you know this? You're talking with your parents. Well, let me tell you this, guys. My grandparents, I didn't met my grandfathers because guess what? Both of them died of alcoholism. They were both alcoholics, and they abused my grandmothers. My grandmother stick it through as to be the conservative one, while the other one kicked my grandpa out of the house and said, "You're not coming back until you're sober." So it's only in those situations that we divorce. But other than that, endure it.
Just stick out of, which is fine if you don't, want to be with someone forever. But I just say stay out of marriage. Because when marriage is supposed to be, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, and for richer or for poorer. It's not supposed to be, when I feel like leaving. The majority of divorces nowadays, it's just, when the girl just feels like leaving.
That's not true.
So,
That's
not true. I've talked to hundreds of women.
That's not. That's just that doesn't prove anything.
And even if you look at when no fault divorce was initiated in the 1970, I think it was initiated. I mean, one of the number one reasons was financial differences and irreconcilable.
Sorry,
I can't talk. But yeah, I just think for the people that don't believe in real marriage, because what is marriage if you can get divorced over damn near anything? It's not marriage anymore. It's something else.
Well, I think the reason for that, historically, this emphasis on staying married, right? Or even before this no fault divorce was an option, and it was more difficult for women to get divorced or men. The abuse of power and the risk for abuse and for people to get stuck in a horrible relationship situation, not just for them, but their kids, right? I mean, obviously having your kids watch their mother get beat up.
Seriously.
And oftentimes it's going to bleed.
Or the kids get watching their father get beat up. Like it goes both ways.
I acknowledge that. It goes both ways. So both people have a right to, in my opinion, get divorced, because the alternative is one of the partners being stuck and
do you think that's the majority? Do you think that's the majority of cases?
A majority of cases of what? Divorce?
Of divorce.
25%. 25%. It's 25% based on statistics.
No, but that's not what's in criminal court. It's like less than.
Wait, what? Earlier you were talking about statistics, and when he prints you some statistics, well, that's not the case. That's not family court. That's criminal court.
She belongs to the street.
Bro, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
10%. It actually followed through in criminal court.
Well, regardless, 10% is enough, don't you think?
No, I said less than 10% of the abuse cases of the 25%. So that's like...
Journal of Family Violence in 2014 found that approximately 25% of divorces in the United States involve domestic violence.
Right. But again, that's because the woman says that she was, because they're incentive.
Okay, but you're just saying stuff. You're just saying stuff.
Exactly.
You don't actually know that to be true.
No,
exactly.
I do. In the UK, there's a law that you get a free lawyer.
Okay, but this is not the UK. It's America. USA. America, fuck yeah. This is not the UK. You can't just go ahead and talk about the laws and how things should do in the UK when in America is completely different. It's two different countries, two different laws.
How does that prove that women are lying about violence?
Exactly.
I'm saying that you can't prove it unless they go to criminal court, because criminal court is based off of evidence, where family court is based off of a balance of probability. So
that is not true. Family court requires to have evidence. I'm telling you, I got family members that are right now going through divorce right now, and they need to bring some evidence to show them, see as to why my significant other was a piece of shit. And they have to, because if not, the family court will be like, well, we'll decide equal instead of fairness. It's bullshit what
I
she's
mean, it's
talking
more likely
about.
that they did it than didn't do it. It's not innocent until proven guilty.
Right, but they're not going to jail. It's just to let the abused.
I mean, you could
partner.
call it jail when you have a lifetime of not seeing your children. When the
You
whole
could, but
like,
it's not.
community,
But it's not.
I mean, you could. I mean, have you spoken to these
different
men?
things.
It's like literally their whole community thinks they're an abuser. Now they get to see their kids maybe 3 days a month if they're lucky.
But if he is an abuser, then yeah, he deserves to be known as the abuser and deserves not to be reached out by the kids because of his abusive offense. And obviously, there's probably situations in which the man was kind of cheated and he was never being abused, and the woman is the one being the abuser. But that happens too. Like, it goes both ways.
A lot of
Sure,
them are
sure,
a lot
of
them
course.
Put on.
Yeah,
Right.
there's bad outcomes for sure.
Yeah,
But on the
I mean,
whole,
a lot of men zero themselves out during this.
Oh my God.
they what?
Oh my
Like a
God,
lot of
did
men
I-
commit suicide
Oh, I
during.
see.
Yeah,
Oh, that's horrible. You know.
it's horrible. It's like absolutely terrible. Like I interview these men that are going through this.
Yeah, I'm sure
'cause
that's happened, but at the same time, you're saying women are lying about violence, and I haven't seen you be
No,
able to
okay.
prove
I'm
that.
saying- I'm saying
Exactly.
that you can't prove it unless you go to criminal court because family
Right, but
court
it's
is
not a crime.
based off of evidence.
Right, but they're not going to jail.
not-
It's just about the welfare of the kids. And,
It's a
Exactly.
crime if you're
Thank you.
falsely accusing someone of abuse.
Um,
I'm saying there's no, you can't, they only prove it in less than 10% of cases
okay,
in criminal
so
court because criminal court is based off of evidence. Family court is not.
No. Family court, any fucking court, if you bring a lawyer, you bring documents to the court, you present it to the judge, any court, it doesn't matter. There needs to be some basis, some evidence behind your accusations or legalities as to why you're doing this. Oh my gosh, she's talking out her
let's just say
goddamn
less than
ass.
10%. I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt on that. Still seems like enough to give people the option to leave. And this idea that women just leave whenever they want seems a little bit infantile, since because people change, right? Especially when people get married young, which does happen.
Right.
People change. People
It does
go
happen.
through shit. People grow apart. A lot of the men who end up being abusive, you hear, were one way before they got married and one way after you get married. So I don't think it's fair to say you're just leaving whenever you want, or you should just have to stay in this
Yeah,
forever.
exactly.
Wouldn't you prefer people get married than never get married? Like, I feel like you would be disturbed if, like, only 5% of couples ever got married.
I'd rather people got married than stayed married.
Right, but that wasn't one of the options.
That's
I
not
actually
one of the
don't see a
options.
point in getting married with the way that marriage is today, to be honest. Yeah, because again, like, what is it? The average marriage is like 8 years. So the average marriage is 8 years and you're done. That's not marriage.
Leaving a marriage due to
What?
domestic violence and not pursuing criminal charges. If so, let's say that a woman's in a marriage and they have a no fault marriage divorce. So let's say she doesn't want to charge her husband. She just wants to leave amicably. Okay. But in your situation, she's forced to charge him legally, to have a police investigation, charge him for domestic violence. Wouldn't that be more damaging to his reputation?
Not if he beat the case, because again, it's based off of evidence. But I mean, I think that why would you want an abusive guy walking free? If he's actually abusive, he should go to jail.
Jesus Christ. I am not hearing, my God, the stupidity that comes out of her mouth. What the fuck?
Right.
Shouldn't we agree on that?
Right, but it's just not that simple. Again, because like it's just not that simple. Abuse cases, because and it's not that simple to convict people.
I just don't think that men should be punished without evidence. And I think in family court, it's not based off.
But people don't get punished because of I didn't do anything. No, they get punished because if there's is there circumstantial, is there evidence that actually leads to it? Like, chances are that you did do it. That's how you get punished. Not because like there's no evidence. Like, no, people get charged for it because there's certain evidence that leads up to it. Nobody goes to fucking court of being accused because you didn't do anything. Oh, but Andrew Tate, it's like, you're gonna argue me with the Andrew Tate shit. He's going to jail, by the way. We're gonna talk about that very quickly after this.
Off of evidence. It's based on a balance of probabilities.
Oh,
and so
shut
you
the
have
fuck up.
a
You've
case
never
where
been in one.
men only, like, they're stuck seeing their kid like 3 days a month. When again, it's not.
Again, she's talking about out of her ass without even knowing some of these facts, and she's not even a lawyer. She doesn't know what goes with in court. Yet she's making a documentary about that.
Not based off of evidence. Like, I've interviewed guys where literally the wife, and I've seen the court documents. It's coming out in my documentary that's coming out in the fall. The wife,
The documentary that's gonna flop.
was plotting to try to get the guy to hit her.
Right, I'm sure that happens, but
And
that's
the wife still got custody.
right.
Mhm.
But that's not a representative case. Again, I mean, for example, you ask why a mom wouldn't want to try a parent. It's more nuanced, right? I mean, you need a more developed take on that, because it's very traumatic for the kids and the family to put their father through a violence case, and especially when the kids are probably going to have to ask to testify, to talk to the police. I mean, I totally understand why mother or father wouldn't want to put their family through that, don't you?
I mean, I can understand it. Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure. And I mean, according to national statistics on domestic violence, okay, there's 10 million men and women each year that are the victim of physical abuse.
Mhm.
But in your world, I have a feeling that a lot of these people would be trapped in these marriages, and that's okay.
I said in one-sided abuse, they could leave. Yes.
Okay.
So, no. Yeah.
Okay.
Idiot.
Do you
I do think in order to get custody of your kids, if you're going to accuse the other side of abuse, you should have to prove it.
do you think what do you think is
I think I'm done
more
with
harmful to
it, right?
kids? Divorce or physical abuse?
Physical abuse.
Okay, you passed that one.
hmm
But you had to think about it for a second. But anyway, let's move on from this.
I just thought it was kind of a silly question. That was all. But
Okay, that's refreshing.
All right. So what are my quick thoughts of this? There's more to it. I'm not gonna talk about more because it's just more shit that's coming out of her goddamn mouth, which is just stupid. My thoughts in all this. Huh?
Nani?
I think I felt more dumber on listening to her than anything else. Honestly. My thoughts is I guess in the words of Just Pearly Things, don't divorce, just endure it. With the exception that if it's been abusive or there's like gambling addictions and other stuff, then yeah, then you can go ahead and then divorce. But ban divorce. She's a grifter. I've been saying this for quite some time. She's a known grifter. She doesn't talk out of her first opinion. She talks from other people's opinions and she just echoes it basically. That's what she does. And I feel like the reason why she's like this, it's because I'm pretty sure in her own community, nobody likes her. Nobody likes her and everybody despises her that much that she had to piggyback on other communities until she find the one that she feels like, all right, we can upset you. And then she decided to stay with it, which is the redpilled community. And that's why she's saying all these dumb, wild takes about women, even though has no experience. She's not been on more than a year on a relationship. She's in her mid-20s, so she doesn't know much about relationships. In fact, and she had a wealthy life, so she's a spoiled bride. So what the fuck does she know about divorce and whatnot? Oh, because I talked to people and this is what they're telling me. It's like, okay, they're telling you stuff. Doesn't mean that you're the expert of the divorce. Unless you're a divorce lawyer, you are meant nothing. And that is documentary that you're making about. It's gonna mean nothing, jack shit. That's what she is. I feel like that's my theory about her. She's just like, I don't know, like it's just wild for me to hear these certain things from people like her. You know, yeah, she's just an idiot, man. There's more to it, but I don't want to talk about it more. If you want me to cover more about her and her stupidity, please let me know in the comments down below. Let's just move on. We're gonna wrap this up very quickly. We're a little bit over, but that's okay. Good news. Andrew Tate has been charged with rape and human trafficking in Romania. Let's go. So all his interviews and whatnot saying about the Matrix, they got nothing. It's not gonna happen. You know, this and that, and all the times that he's talking about like, you know, scamming and trafficking and all this stuff. That he's like blah blah blah. It's not going to happen, this and that. Well, the jury decided to indict him. In this article, we read that, you know, he's being charged in Romania with rape, human trafficking, and forming a criminal gang to exploit women. And they filed the charges with his brother too, and two Romanian women in the court because they were part of it in the nation's anti-organized crime agency. I'm not going to read the whole goddamn article, but now he's getting charged. And for those who are saying, and for those of you morons that are saying like how they're getting charged, they got no evidence. In any government, doesn't matter which one, in any government, if there been a long investigation towards you and they find certain compelling things that has enough evidence to charge you for the certain crimes, they're gonna have it. They're gonna present it in court, and then let the jury decide what happens afterwards. Nobody's gonna go to jail because they're being charged. This whole notion that Tate and the rest of the Red Pill committee says that he's going to jail for no reason because the government decides to go. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. If you're gonna go to jail, it's because chances are that of the things that you've been accused, you might actually did it, and you're gonna pay for the repercussions of it. And I'm happy that they're getting charged, both him and his brother and the two other women that were part of it. And if the government just sees that, yeah, we have enough evidence and we got everything lined up to charge you and put you in jail, that means they got a solid case for them, because they're not just gonna go ahead and charge you for having a small case or for you to walk out. No, that means they have sufficient enough evidence to convict you. So for all those you morons out there that's saying like they have no evidence, like, no, bro, they definitely have evidence. If they're gonna proceed with this, it's because they got enough evidence to convict them. Now, will it go through? That remains to be seen on the charges, on the trial. Let's see how it goes. Let's play out. We'll give you updates of it. Let's end this with these nice notes that we got here, or semi-nice, I guess. Movies and TV shows. One Piece trailer. Holy shit. And Netflix, I don't know what's going on with Netflix. I saw the trailer. I'm not going to post it. Not going to talk much about it. But fuck me, it's shit. I feel like this is going to be another bomb. If you couldn't, and oh my God, it was just someone that they tried. I feel like they tried very hard. I don't know. I just don't like it at all. It looks like it's going to bomb. You can see the trailer if you guys want to, like the One Piece. I know fans are, it's an anime show that's kind of hard for you to make a live adaptation, especially with certain characters. Like, how are you going to do that? This ain't Pirates of the Caribbean type shit. Is everything going to be all CGI and shit? It's horrible. And I hear the first Gum pistol. I was like, my God, you a bitch. You sound like a bitch. Anyways, yeah, guys, go check that out. Avatar: The Last Airbender trailer came out as well. It was more of a teaser. Didn't show much about it. My expectations are low with that one, so we'll see how it goes. Flash, the Flash movie. So I want to talk about it very quickly before we wrap it up. We saw the movie The Flash. Surprisingly, it was pretty good. Again, another movie that I felt like it was good. I don't know why everybody on the bot, they say like, oh, there's a lot of mixed reviews. I don't know why. They handled the execution of the Flash movie, despite of the countless delays, pretty good. My expectations were pretty low, and when I saw the movie, I was like, wow, and amazed about it, actually. I couldn't complain. Couldn't enjoy it much of it because I had hecklers behind me talking throughout the entirety of the movie and talking about who is this and what's that. You can tell that they're not fans. They're not DC fans of the show, of the series, because if not, they would have shut the fuck up. But they were just like talking and it was over it. I couldn't enjoy it much of it. But for the much I enjoy it, the much I saw, I enjoyed pretty well. Like I will give it a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's not bad at all. Pushing it to 8, maybe, but it's not bad. It's not bad as how many critics are calling it like a bomb in this and how horrible. It's like, no, it's actually pretty good. The story was pretty good. It was like, and it definitely fits the timeline, the DCU timeline now. Now there's going to be a whole new timeline. So no spoilers out here. I'm not going to tell you guys. Last thing, Final Fantasy 16 is released tomorrow, Friday. I'm getting a copy of it pretty soon. I think I'm getting my copy today, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, so far, I've heard nothing but good reviews, which is actually pretty good for the next installment of Final Fantasy. I downloaded the demo. I played a little bit. I was amazed. The gameplay, the transformation, all that stuff looks fantastic, and I cannot wait to play it. It's going to be one of those games that I had to dedicate my time to play because I barely have any time, but it looks good. It looks good. So we're going to wrap this up, guys. It's been a roller coaster episode. Sorry about that, guys. I took a little while longer than usual, but we're ending this right here. So, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. And remember, every week is a brand new episode or a brand new topic. So always remember to like and subscribe for your weekly episodes at the WOLVPVCK Podcast for SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And, of course, the YouTube channel at youtube.com/the Lone Wolv Podcast or at Lone Wolv Pod, when you can check all my latest episodes of the Lone Wolv Podcast and the WOLVPVCK Podcast under that one same umbrella. Comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts. Share your experiences. If you guys got a specific topic that you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to do my best to cover it on the next episode. So guys, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys at the next one. All right? Peace.